And we are on Parcel D still, I think, because I almost messed up that last time. We are on Parcel D for our next vlog on the Dearest Inescapable Little Spinner Alt YouTube channel. So this is a philosophy vlog, abstract philosophy at that point, if you call it that, if I call it that. We are on, if Nofap or PMO and Semen tension related, we are going to say that this is a day zero because every time I just relapse, I call it day zero. And if it goes over the next, it rolls over the next day. Even if that rollover is supposed to be day two, it's day one at that point for me. So yeah, I should always start on day one anyways. But that's how all the other counters work. Don't count the days count, something like that. And I sound like I'm Jade for saying that. I already know how to make it interesting, so whatever. But hello everyone, it's D.I.G.S. If it's not D.I.G.S, it's the other channels I have available to me. I have March Golf and Toy Cashin, so if you want to check those out, you can. The links in the description or in the comments if I do. But or the end card. So for D.I.G.S, what I got for you today, I wanted to be more improvisation with this one because I didn't want to just be like, yeah, I relapsed. What about it? Because I don't want to put too much shade on that. I actually know that I do forgive myself and I do have ways to make this work. Whether even if the debacle of poor masturbation orgasm does not end right away, there's still ways to make my life work in the meantime. You have to be living your life regardless of the way you succeed or not with or without no fancy attention. So it's like, it gets that point. But I came in this improvisational. I didn't want to just be like, oh, I have a topic for you, because sometimes I have a controversial philosophical stay away on that one. Not necessarily staying away from that, but just stay away, whatever. So I guess I can start off with a philosophy question first this time. Last time we talked about PMO. The title said PMO philosophy and prepping, and the prepping was pretty cool as a topic, but I can expand on that if I need to. But for now, we just have my philosophy question right now. I'm going to tell you guys this in the same way I said like last 2 minutes ago. And the question is now going to be, is it true that making your life good or making decisions in your life that could involve the lifestyle of abstinence from porn and sex, is it worth living your life right now before you ascertain or absolve and defeat some of your addictions, the terrible ones, and even other decisions that make your life better? Is it possible or even necessary or even worthwhile trying to live your life right now instead of worrying about whether or not you'll have conclusions for those things and resolutions? Or should you resolve that first and then live your life? And there's a way that this can go in different ways. Like people who know that Nofap has been good for them when they actually already abstained and then had other things fall into order in their lives, opening more doors, having more opportunities, etc., unlocking more keys, then of course their life is going to get better. Generally, objectively, not necessarily always having a good time, but that their life would be better in the long run, and that they didn't have to worry about too many other things. Even though there are other obstacles and dark sides that come with no family intention, then but that's the idea, is that you're never going to be perfect anyways. But just that's not supposed to be a curse anyways. So the other end of that argument is, of course, when you think about how people who know that they have nothing to lose with giving up PMO, but they have everything to gain when they pursue Nofap. And that's just to spit it bluntly. But you have like what people have been going through, other than PMO, that is probably related to the core issues and the core wounds. But they don't have to think of it as being the only way they could fix their problems. But fixing the PMO is definitely a problem that does need to be resolved. And even if I can put that quote unquote and not necessarily inflate PMO as a problem, because there are other problems in your life, and maybe PMO may not be as bad as people say it is, as its own controversy by itself. But so that's the question. I'll expand a little bit more on prepping right now without making it part of the title, I guess, if I had to. Okay, so I filled out the bug out bag that I have. I have an old bug out bag that I didn't clean, but it's not that dirty anyway, so hopefully it doesn't get infested. The one thing that's in that bug out bag right now is the sugar, which I don't have to worry about anyways, but I think I'm going to try to make sure that I check it over and over. Not too often, but enough times I don't forget that what's in there, and I'll make it fester anyways. If that actually does happen, if I'm reacting otherwise. But anyways, the prep out, the majority of the preps did go into the bug out bag for safety reasons. I'm going to refill the preps I have in the other storages facility units if I keep calling it that, I might actually think I have a lot of storage. So I may call affirmation for that, positive affirmation. But ideally, I might be running out of time for the preps to keep coming in. But even with limited storage, it might be kind of a little late on that. So with preps, I've been enjoying my time. When I made the last video, I think I already did the thing I just said right now. When I made the last vlog 0, vlog 1, it was like for Parcel D on this channel, D.I.G.S. I may have already set up the cans on the bed and then put them into the bug up bag and back into the storage unit. Before that, they were already like in a whole segmentation. They were like filling up all areas except for the bug up bag in parts of my room. So it was like, but when I did that, it was like the bug up bag literally filled up completely. I mean, the whole backpack is now full of like food that you can open without a can opener, and some water, and even some of my dandelion seeds and other tools like flash drives and stuff. So they're all in secure ways. But that thing's heavy now. I'm not gonna walk the walk with that thing on my back. I might as well just bring it to a truck and then be end with it. But if I want to make it lighter, I could do that too. But that's just to give myself the illusion of more room, but not necessarily forgetting to have that as an emergency backup plan if bugging out or bugging in. Even if bugging in is the thing at that point, it's still going to be because I did have that food with me. So if I bug in, then I can keep it anyways and then use it over time, unless it's not a burden to use a little bit or even a lot of a bug out bag by the time you are actually playing the bug out in the future, should you have that opportunity in the future. Because usually when you bug in early, that's a permanent solution. I'll remember this better, but it's not a permanent solution to bug in, but it is a crucial decision to make nonetheless between bugging out and bugging in early on. So when you have a shit hit the fan scenario, you don't have to think of it like, okay, I'll never get to leave it later on, but it would be better if you'd made that decision now. If you made that decision in the early stages of a shit hit the fan situation. You know what I mean? Like, because it gets worse later on. It gets excruciatingly hard. It doesn't become possible, but you have to consider that kind of thing. So, yes, we're prepping. And other things I've been into, I was looking into getting the seeds. I don't know if I mentioned them before, but like getting the seed packets, as expensive as they are, I'm under some supposedly personal situations that prevent me from getting as many seeds as possible, or even the seeds I want. Sometimes it's like I'm hesitating on the seeds because I think that's the last thing I want to get before anything else sends my way, to say at least. I think I want to get food seed packets and herb seed packets. I prefer the herbs, and there's not that many I need to get anyways, but it would be nice to have a collection of those. But maybe the food would be nice to do too, because they become a resource and a commodity at the same time. Same with the food. The food is a commodity and a resource. The seeds would be a short-term resource, and they can be long-term in that regard, but they're not going to be immediately edible. You know what I mean? So like it's just like unless it's a sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, whatever you roast them. But like that's wasting it though a little bit. But you know, because some of those seeds can be really expensive by themselves, and they give you little packets for like the more expensive seeds, I guess. Depending on the size and the potency, I guess. But so that's what the perennial seeds. Oh, perennial seeds, like getting seeds that can regrow and grow more seeds and last longer. That's pretty special. Like if that's not more volatile and priceless or whatever, because you know it's just seeds that don't expire. If you have to preserve your seeds, that's kind of weird. Preserving your food with all the pressure canners and the mylar bags and the other cool stuff that people do, freeze drying. That would help in the long run, advanced wise, but it's not supposed to see as an advanced skill to prep like that. It's like if you can do it, all power to you. But that's just at least with food. If you have to do that with like your seeds, then it's like Jesus, like that is surely someone who's got their shit together. But you know, so that's with seeds. And so far, half this video has been about prepping, so whatever. But you know, this vlog. But I think. What else have I been doing? I've been looking at some games lately, or some games I'm looking at. I've been looking at a multitude of these in spite of the idea that I have to pick one or more. I prefer to play some of my own video games by the ones I already have, whether I bought them or for free. Like I prefer to play the games I have right now to not just be grateful and resourceful, but to actually make the most of my time with them while I can. Because if I go ahead and buy more games, not only a bit would conflate the options I have, which is not a bad idea sometimes, but it's still kind of like, eh. But so I didn't go buy Code Vein for like 8% off and Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl for more than 50% off. I was actually 80% off too, so I think it was like 60% off, 65. So like, because they had All Stars Brawl for like $20, they had Code Vein for like $12, It was insane. Like some of those prices went down really that low. I'm like, oh crap. And why write them off? Because I want to play the games I already have, whether they were free or bought, and I want to make the most of them again. So if I buy games that are bad, then maybe that's kind of yeah. About that, Nickelodeon was just underdeveloped at the least. It wasn't all necessarily a bad game. It was like, but I would like to enjoy what the DLC they have lately with it. And then the multiverses series they have from DC. No, Warner Brothers, but technically DC and Cartoon Network, really. Like, where they have those other characters from other franchises. So it's like, yeah, it looks a little more underdeveloped even compared to ASB, but like, at least it was something of a project. It looked good in the glance of it. It's like it wasn't that bad of a game, even the closed alpha. But it's happening right now. I'm supposed to get the game today, the tickets today, or at least be one of the participants available to the ticket. So if I don't have the ticket right now, I can wait another 8 days remaining to get the ticket and play with that time left, and then hopefully I'll get the ticket. But I have 8 days if I don't get it today, so I don't want to have to. That's not the patron. That's not the blade. That's not to concede that too much. I don't want to literally wait until the 8th day to play it, but if I have to, that I might try. That would suck a little bit because I wouldn't have enough time to play all the characters, I guess, if they're available, but without DLC, I guess. But they would have like a high score list with the players playing. So yeah, that's some gaming for you. That's some prepping. That's some philosophy, I guess you could say. No faps your intention. If I had to expand on one more thing, let me think. What do I feel about my life right now? I could talk about claymation, since I could talk more about that right now. The claymation I have in mind for the main channel, because the main channel now says, the last video that is on there, the last video says, the latest one says, that I'm planning on using a majority of my claymation, or at least a decent amount of it. I didn't know where like that was, but a decent amount of it towards my agorist lifestyle and my anarchism lifestyle. So things like the gray market, having different preferences for payments, having direct private client commissions for the animation, stop motion, claymation industry stuff I do. Not so much in that industry, I guess, anymore, but maybe in a different manner. So it's like using claymation to get paid in that certain format or lifestyle or preference. Having it done in a way where there doesn't have to be anyone standing between me and the customer, no middleman, no monkey man in the middle, stuff like that. If you know what I mean, then you don't need to have me be obscure about it. But it's like it's kind of like that. So I go for that for maybe a few months, and if it works out, then I can. What happens? The idea of this plan was to make sure that my talent wasn't left behind and had a passion that I liked to go with it, and then for my other passions and hobbies not be crutched and grudged matched by my talents in claymation and other talents, and have them be freed, the passions and hobbies that I have alternatively to be freed on things like YouTube, and see if I can niche down those, or at least have a way to have other skills and talents attached to them that are new, all the same as the new passions that go to claymation and other talents. So alternatively, they're kind of branching out at that point, but not to multitask too much, but that's the idea. So that was the short of a video on YouTube I did about that, one of the updates I think I did, and it was to see if claymation could majoritarily fill up some agorist lifestyle work, so that I could be passionate about that and still make a buck on the dime, or whatever you call that, without having to worry about doing them with my other passions. So they wouldn't have to be monetized too early or too desperately. They wouldn't have to have too much audience retention, guys, because like I guess an audience would be tricky anyways, because if you don't have a talent attached to that audience, then maybe it won't be easy. If that's not easy to explain right now, but if I didn't explain properly. But to think that I would make a decision like this after procrastinating anyways, then yeah, it's kind of weird. But the skill, the side gig wouldn't have to have an audience, or not, at least not per se in the way that you would imagine it to be. At least not for me. Not for me to imagine it like that too bluntly, but to have the skill no longer put on a grudge on either end of it, so the passions can be free and the skill can have a purpose anyways, which is good. And that would actually be like, it would, I know it sounds like a run-on, but I just want to, this is how I speak apparently, so. But yeah, that's the idea with claymation lately, is like, some of it will still be to like longer term projects like Project Tether, that's what it's literally called sometimes. Project Tether will still be a storyline franchise on the main channel that I can bring up. Some things will still happen with claymation related stuff on the channel. They'll still come back. There will still be claymations I'll do for YouTube and other things that will be public, and they won't have to be too held behind my other lifestyles and passions. I'm not saying my passion can't be YouTube. I'm just saying that like the things I do, I explained this before with the main channel. It's like the passion can still be to encircle all my passions and hobbies together, even with or without the talents, and that'd be kind of funny, but in a good way. And yeah, that's all I should really say about the claymation thing. Other than that, I'm going to try to actually get on that wagon, if without procrastinating too much. Hopefully, if I get around to it, that'd be nice. But not to procrastinate. I take baby steps anyway. So that's the claymation. That's with Nofap Semen intention. I'm on day 0, so good luck to me. A few hours ago, I think, or not even an hour ago. Oops. But it's like Nofap Semen intention, claymation, prepping, food and seeds, and then philosophy. So that's it for now, guys. I will see you in the next vlog. Parcel D, everyone.